Welcome all to the second part of Outer Space Treaty. So now we will see the jurisdiction and control over objects, where state party on whose registry an object launched into the outer space is carried, while in OS or in CB retain jurisdiction and control over such objects and over any person thereof, the ownership of the object launched in OS, including objects landed or constructed on the celestial body. Their component parts is not affected by their presence in the outer space. Their presence in the celestial body or in their return to the earth, such objects or components are parts found beyond the limit of the state party on whose registry they are carried. Return to the state party, which shall upon request furnish identifying data prior to their return. Cooperation and mutual assistance of state parties shall be guided by the principle of cooperation and mutual assistance. Conduct all the activities in the outer space with due regard to the corresponding interest of all other state parties to the treaty. Pursue studies on outer space. Conduct exploration of them so as to avoid their harmful contamination and adverse changes in the environment of the earth resulting from the introduction of extraterrestrial matter. When necessary, adopt appropriate measures for this purpose. If a state party has a reason to believe that an activity or an experiment would cause potentially harmful interference with activities of other states, parties in peaceful exploration and use of outer space, it shall, if planned by it or its nationals, undertake appropriate international consultation before proceeding with any such activity or experiment. If planned by another state, may request consultation concerning the activity or experiment. Opportunity for observation. State parties, in order to promote international cooperation in the exploration and use of outer space, shall consider any request by other states to afford an opportunity to observe the flight of space object launched by those states. The natural and conditions for such opportunity shall be determined by agreement between the state concerned. Duty to inform the state parties conducting activities in outer space in order to promote international cooperation in the peaceful exploration and use of the outer space. Agree to inform the Secretary General of the United Nations, who should be prepared to disseminate it immediately and effectively, the public and the international scientific community, and the greatest extent feasible and practicable. Nature, conduct, location and result of such activities. If you see the visit of station, installation, equipped vehicles, all station and installation equipment and space vehicles on the moon and other celestial bodies shall be open to the representatives of other states, parties on the basis of reciprocity. Such representatives shall give reasonable advance notice for the projected visit, in order that appropriate consultation may be held. Maximum precautions may be taken to assure safety. Interference with normal operation in the facility to be visited or to be avoided. Applicability to activities of state parties. The provision of this treaty shall apply to activities of the state parties in the exploration and use of outer space, whether carried on by a single state party to the treaty or jointly with other states, including those carried on within the framework of the international intergovernmental organization. Practical question arising in connection with activities carried out by the International Intergovernmental Organization in the exploration and use of outer space shall be resolved by the state parties to the treaty, either with the appropriate international organization or one or more state members of that international organization which are parties to the treaty. Signature, ratification and entering into force. This treaty shall be open to all states for signature. Any state which does not sign this treaty before its entry into force may accede to it at any time. Be subjected to ratification by signatory states. Instrument of ratification and instrument of assertion shall be deposited with the government of USSR, UK, USA, which are hereby designated to depository governments. Entry into force upon the deposits of instruments of ratification by 5 governments, including the government designated as depository governments. For states whose instruments are deposited subsequent to the entry and came into force of this treaty, it shall enter into force on the date of deposit of the instrument and ratification or assertion. If you see the amendment, any state party may propose amendments to this treaty. Amendments shall enter into the force of such state party accepting the amendment upon their acceptance by majority of the state parties, and thereafter for each remembering state party on the date of acceptance by it. When you see the withdrawal, any state party to the treaty may give notice to its withdrawal from the treaty 1 year after its entry into force by a written notification to the depository government, which shall withdraw effect from that day, 1 year from the date of receipt of this notification. Final article on this treaty, of which it is in the Chinese, English, French, Russian, Spanish text and equally authentic, shall be deposited in the archives of depository governments. Duly certified copies shall be transmitted to the depository government and to the governments of the signatory at the acceding state in which language they want. Thank you.